Number 9, the 2017 the Cooper Tires Pro Mazda Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, presented by Allied Building Products. We're about to introduce you to the starting grid for today's race.
Thank you so much, Tony. We have a grid of 14 drivers set to go. We are, of course, just moments away from firing up these 14 Mazda Renesas power plants, rotary power. It'll be the last season of the rotary engine in this Pro Mazda Championship. We move to a brand new car next year, the Tatis-built PM18, a new Mazda MZR 2-liter power plant, kicking out about 280 horsepower. That will be the second rung of the Mazda Road to Indy. Let's have a look at the grid as they get set to go. 14 drivers ready to roll off here. Starting on row number 7, Brendan Puderbach in the number 31. The Fat Boy Racing entry will start on the outside. And on the inside for Unfair Advantage Motorsports out of Texas, Kevin Bury in the number 5. Moving now to row number 6. On the outside, Bury's teammate, it's Dave Zavelson in the number 2. These drivers in the national class for drivers 20 years of age and older. Zavelson will start in the 12th position alongside the young pilot out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Max Hanratty in the number 6 for Arms Up Motorsports. Into the top 10 now, starting on the outside of row number 5. 2 times a winner already this weekend. Of course, a triple header for Pro Mazda. 2 wins already for Bob Kaminsky in the number 57. That car being engineered by John Kaminsky Racing. Kaminsky in the 57, starting in the 10th position. Alongside Bob on row number 5 will be Jeff Green in the number 60 for Uncos Racing, rookie in the series this year, starting in the 9th position. We'll move now to row number 4 on the outside, scheduled to start in the 8th spot. Chris Wright in the number 12. The JDC Motorsports entry told they're having a bit of an issue with the throttle, but potentially able to get that fixed and get him back on the grid. So Chris Wright in the number 12, starting in the 8th spot, while on the inside will be Bobby Eberly in the title boxing gym. World Speed Motorsports number 13, multi-time Masters champion in this category. Eberly starting in the 7th position. Advancing now to row number 3 on the outside, a young driver who has been so impressive here this year, fresh out of karting, ran last year in the Formula Speed Series at Sonoma Raceway. Out of Idaho, it's Stingray Robb in the number 14. Stingray for World Speed Motorsports, a 121.878 in qualifying, puts him P6. Alongside Stingray, driver currently sitting in the 3rd spot in points, one of these 3 very impressive Team Pelfrey drivers, the yellow and black livery on the car, TJ Fisher out of California in the number 82, starting in the 5th spot. Moving now to row number 2 on the outside, it's Nikita Listoshkin, the driver out of Russia who now lives here in the U.S., the rookie driver, a couple years of USF 2000 competition. Great to see him in the program this year, having some great events, and was able to get on the podium at Road America just about a month ago. Listoshkin's going to start in the 4th position in the number 80. Alongside Listoshkin on row number 2, the driver who won yesterday, your current point leader in the blue and white Uncos Racing number 23 out of Brazil, starting 3rd, the 23 of Victor Franzoni. 14 drivers in the field. We'll put 2 on the front row. Off pole, another one of those vibrant and brilliant yellow Team Pelfrey cars. The number 81, the Brazilian Carlos Cunha. Cunha in the number 81, starting in the 2nd position. A front row start for this rookie driver. On the front row, though, a driver who knows how to get around this track here at Mid-Ohio. Last year swept the USF 2000 triple header en route to winning the championship. He's got the Soul Red Mazda number 8, the sponsorship, of course, the scholarship that comes from winning that program. Currently sitting 2nd in points, the winner of the first race this weekend, the Australian pilot, it'll be Anthony Martin in the number 8, starting on the pole position. Martin and Cunha on row 1, Franzoni and Listoshkin row 2, Fisher and Robb row 3, Eberly and Wright row 4, Green and Kaminsky on row 5, Hanratty and Zavelson on row 6, Bury and Puderbach on row number 7. There is your grid for this Pro Mazda Championship, the Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, presented by Allied Building Products. So, folks, we are about set to go. We have Chris Clark, one of our guests from Allied Building Products, with me down here on pit lane, and there are 14 drivers who are ready to flip the switch and fire up They're Mazda rotary Renaissance power plants to get things underway. And that's what we want to do. It's been a triple header weekend. Race wins already. One for Anthony Martin, one for Victor Franzoni. Who is going to win race number 3? Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with the call to fire these drivers in Pro Mazda.
On behalf of everyone at Allied Building Products, drivers, start your Mazda engines.
Engines firing down here on pit lane. We are about set to go. The third race of this triple header here in Mid-Ohio. John Phippen, it's going to be a good one.
Thanks so much, Rob Howden, as we hear those Mazda engines rev to life for the final time here in Pro Mazda competition as the Renaissance power plant makes way for the more contemporary Mazda MX-R power plant for these new PM18s to be introduced for 2018. So let's send off these Mazda Renaissance power plants, fire-breathing Renaissance power plants, with a bang here for the finale of the triple header for the Pro Mazda Championship. As Rob is making his way up from downstairs, we've got one car that dropped a little piece of debris, or one of the crew members dropped a little piece of debris on the pit lane, and Brendan Puderbaugh had to wait to catch up with the rest of the field. Rusty Bell is on the backside. I'm John Phippen speaking to you from the Goodyear Press Tower. Welcome to all of you listening on the World Wide Web. I'm John Phippen overlooking the start-finish line. And coming back through turn number 1, the car's coming to the view of Rusty Bell on the backside. Hey, Rusty.
Hey, John, and a lot of fans. We can see the hill up there in the keyhole very full, and the inside of turn 1 as well as the outside of turn 1. So looking forward to getting this one underway. I pick up the cars as they come underneath that turn 1 bridge, and they make their way up to the straightaway into that 180-degree keyhole turn, a little off camber, downhill at the exit, and then onto the long back straightaway with a kink in the middle, 3,000 feet long, and setting them up for the best passing area and the hardest braking area on the track, the entrance to the S's.
And no surprise, that's the place where we've got the biggest crowd here at Mid-Ohio. How's it looking out there, Brian Culbertson?
It's looking good. The field making their way through the S's right now, lined up behind the pace car. And we're going to get this Pro Mazda race off here in just a moment.
And as the cars climb out of the S's up the hill under the walkover bridge and into the view of Tom Michaels back in Thunder Valley. Hey, Tom.
Yeah, we're watching them as they come through turn 8 and 9, a couple of right-handers, 9 off camber, coming up over that little rise, and then down into Thunder Valley, underneath the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course pedestrian bridge, and a bending right-hander in turn 10. That leads them up just a little brief straight piece of racetrack up into the left-hander, very fast there in turn 11, around to the carousel turn and onto the front straightaway.
As they come up out of Thunder Valley, they go through turn 11, which has been a very tricky place here this weekend. We've seen lots of incidents in that very high-speed turn, but Rob Howden, the voice of the Mazda Road to Indy, has joined me here in the booth. And Rob, this is the last appearance here at Mid-Ohio of the Mazda Renaissance Power Plant. Slap me on the face as the leaders coming around on the front, the carousel turn. Anthony Martin and Kuna about ready to get it underway.
It's a championship chase, no doubt about it. Both Martin and Franzoni have wins here this weekend as part of this triple header. Who's going to take the victory today? We're underway. Green, green, green. Good jump for Martin. Great start. He'll slot in to P1. Cunha right beside him there into second. Franzoni slots into third. Rusty Bell, pretty good run here through turn number 1.
Yeah, a couple of Team Pelfrey cars right behind that. Laskoshin and Fisher, who we saw Fisher make some great moves yesterday. We'll see if he can move up again, and he moves up into that 4th spot right behind his teammate as the 23 got around. Franzoni moved up into that 2nd spot. A couple of cars kicking up a little bit of dust as they drop a wheel wide there coming onto the straightaway. But it's the number 8 car in the front, then the number 23 of Franzoni, and they've got a little bit of a gap between 3 Team Pelfrey cars.
Yeah, those 3 Team Pelfrey cars going at each other as they make their way up into turn number 5. Your pole sitter, Anthony Martin, kind of getting away a little bit here already, Tom Michaels. You'll see him when they pop up in your view. He's already got 10 car lengths.
Yep, big lead for this point in the race. And then second place, Franzoni, he's got an advantage there. You move back 81, 80, and 82. The teammates, 81, Cunha, 82, Fisher. 80, Listoshkin. That's the way they run, as we're running the first lap here.
Rob Howden, Martin, and Franzoni both with 4 wins on the season now. This will be the rubber match between those two.
Yeah, Franzoni slotted into the second position, able to hold on to that spot now as he gets by Cunha. But again, you talk about these 3-team Pelfrey drivers battling. You know, they're all on one team, but they all come in here to win races themselves. They may be on the same team, they may have the same livery, the same colors, but they're all trying. This is their own career. They're racing hard to try to get the best positions they want. There's that unwritten rule that you don't take out your teammate, but the bottom line is these guys are here. They brought the budget to run. If they want to race hard, they can race hard. Up front, Martin with a lead by 1.2 seconds. That was the gap to complete lap number 1. Franzoni slots into second. Franzoni able to take over that point lead after the incident yesterday over in the carousel where his teammate Jeff Green kind of bucked up to him. He and Martin coming into the carousel. Martin tried to go to the outside. Green pushed wide, tried to get out of the way at the exit. Actually got into the way of Martin. That allowed Franzoni to come into the inside. A lot of controversy. They actually had all the drivers and team owners into a meeting of those two teams that were involved just to try to clear the air. They looked at video. Bottom line was there was no penalty. They believed that Jeff Green was just trying to get out of the way. Obviously, they were closing up on him. Could he have held back and maybe let them pass somewhere earlier in the lap? Yeah, he could have did that. It just happened that it came to a head in the carousel. Had they been able to get out on the front straightaway, I don't think we would have had an issue. But it did flip-flop the championship. That put Franzoni back to the front and allowed him to take the lead once again from Martin.
Kunai is not going away quietly. He's right on the back of Franzoni. Less than a second at the line last time. I think it's closer than that now.
Franzoni is not closing up at all on Martin. So, yeah, let's have a look at the gap between second and third. Actually, fast lap of the race, not surprising. Your leader, Anthony Martin, a 122.533, looking to see if he can't win his 5th race in 6 starts in the last 2 years here at Mid-Ohio. Franzoni, a 122.8. Kuna a bit quicker, you're right, about a 1/10 of a second. Kuna closing down now to less than 9/10 of a second, Rusty.
Down the straightaway, we're watching that on that last lap. TJ Fisher got around Listoshkin as the entry to the keyhole turn. Listoshkin really worked hard trying to get back around him, but couldn't. And he's put a nice gap there, but that's the battle for second, tightening up just a bit.
Yeah, at the end of the break zone here at turn number 5, we're watching Acuna able to start to close up. He's got it down to about 3 car lengths as they go down into turn number 6. Boy, that car is coming alive here this early in the race. Tom Michaels in front of you, second place. There's a challenge, Franzoni.
Yeah, Martin is checking out in first place, and then you get the 3-car length lead at second. Franzoni over Cunha.
Drivers working their way up now to turn 11, 12, back over here to the carousel. No issues at all at this point for Anthony Martin as he is comfortably into the position. Martin leading away, trying to score his 5th race win. This thing is coming down to a battle between Franzoni and Martin. We'll go now to the Oval at Gateway in St. Louis. That'll be our next event. Then a doubleheader at Watkins Glen International to cap off the season. Still 3 opportunities to find points for all these drivers involved. But this is really kind of, John, settled into a 2-driver battle. The guys have shown the ability to win races. Franzoni and Martin, the only guys to have won so far this year.
Watching that straightaway battle for second again. It does look to be a little bit closer. Kuna trying to close in on Franzoni. It's about 6 car lengths here by me, but it's closing up, Brian.
Yeah, Kuna does a really good job through the S's. He got it down to about 3 car lengths that last time through here. And again, he is really good on the brakes. He looks great through the S's. He gets it down to 3 car lengths. So Kuna starting to close up on Franzoni. Tom Michaels, you'll get to see that. It's 4 car lengths as they lead my view.
Yeah, distance first to second. The distance between turns 8 and 9. About 2.5 car lengths now between Franzoni and Cunha. And then Fisher, Listoshkin. Fisher with a good-sized lead over Listoshkin right now for the 4th place.
It's been about a 1/10 of a second every lap. Cunha a little bit quicker than Franzoni, 122.2 to a 122.1. The gap now down to less than 0.8 of a second. Visibly closer this time onto the front straightaway. We'll watch the gap. Still this low 0.7 of a second. As you guys have said, a lot closer coming back around. Here's your top 10 now. Martin leads, Franzoni second, Cunha in the 3rd spot. Fisher 4th, Listoshkin in 5th. Stingray Robb runs in 6th, Bobby Eberle 7th. Chris Wright in 8th, Bob Kaminsky leading the way in the national class in the 9th position. Max Hanratty now in 10th.
11th is Jeff Green. 12th, 13th, and 14th, Dave Zavelson, Brendan Puderbach, and Kevin Bury. Rusty, pretty good racing up front right now, but it's a 3-second lead for Anthony Martin.
Yeah, he's pulling away a little bit. That battle's breaking off a little bit. Franzoni driving a bit harder, but Stingray Robb is definitely closing up, trying to take over that 5th spot from Nikita Listoshkin.
Yeah, Stingray Robb figured things out yesterday afternoon in the race, was able to really get a handle on Mid-Ohio, and now he's challenging Tom Michaels. When they come into your view, watch Stingray Robb. He is closing up big time.
Absolutely. Right now, 3 car lengths. That's the distance between he and Laskosian, who is in 5th place.
Again, watching this battle at the front as Kuna with Franzoni. When it was about 3/4 of a second a lap ago, they had virtually identical lap times on that last circuit. I don't think Kuna's made up any ground. It looks like that interval's about stationary. In fact, Victor Franzoni able to draw away just a bit more. But you're right, Stingray Robb closing down quickly on Nikita Listoshkin.
2 really good battles on the racetrack. Number 1, Stingray Robb in 6th, trying to close up here on Listoshkin. This is the best we've seen Robb run so far this year. Quicker lap times than Listoshkin. You look at 1:22.3 for Nikita, 1:22.2 for Stingray. We're going to have a good battle there for 5th. But then 7th, 8th, and 9th all running together. Bobby Eberle, Chris Wright, and Bob Kaminsky pretty much nose to tail as well. So really good racing throughout the field. We're just not getting that lead battle that we saw yesterday when Franzoni parked his number 23 off the rear gearbox, the gearbox of Martin. This time, Martin really just taking control. Things are running away. 3.3 seconds, Brian, now the gap.
Stingray Robb closes it down. He's got it down to under a car length as he makes it through turn number 5, heads into turn number 6. The challenge is on. Stingray Robb making a move here, trying to get up here.
Not going to challenge as he comes through 8 and 9. Not good passing places here in this part of the race course. Under acceleration, let's see if he's able to pull up there on Laskosian. He's got a little bit more of a wide line through the apex of turn number 10. Then tucks back in behind Laskosian in 11.
Unlike the Indy Lights series that has the push to pass, so you're able to get a massive boost of horsepower to try to get by a guy, you don't have that here in the Pro Mazda category. You've got to get the job done on the racetrack. And one of the issues the drivers will always talk about, especially here at Mid-Ohio, because of these long, sweeping, constant radius corners, or even some of the decreasing radius corners, is the fact that once you tuck up underneath somebody, you lose all that air off the front wing. You lose the front downforce. The car picks up a ton of understeer, and then you just can't get back on the throttle. When you're coming out of the keyhole, which is such an important part of this racetrack, to get that run all the way down into turn number 4, you're just waiting. You're waiting. You want to roll back on that throttle, and when that car starts pushing out, when you apply throttle, it's all coming from the rear wheels. It just snowplows that thing off the racetrack. So when you lose that front grip from losing that front arrow when you get right up behind a driver, you just have to wait. And the longer you're waiting to get back on the throttle, you're just not going to have the same speed at the end of the straightaway.
Stingray Robb gets it down to a car length again through the S's here. He is way better on the brakes at the end of the back straightaway. That car is able to close up. Even with the arrow push, he gets it through the S's way better than Laskosian.
Yeah, still about 2 car lengths between the positions there. Interesting to watch the different lines as they do go down through Thunder Valley. Much wider off of the line going through turn number 10 is Stingray Robb.
This championship, John, we don't know who's going to win. You know, we go to Road America. That was our last race. Victor Franzoni able to get a win, and then Martin gets a win, and then here we are here. Martin gets a win, Franzoni gets a win. A little lucky yesterday for Franzoni. This track was really kind of owned by Anthony Martin. He's won so many here. And the funny thing was that I actually interviewed Victor during the Indy Lights broadcast yesterday, and we talk about drivers all the time. If you like a racetrack, you're going to be good there.
Sure.
If you don't like a racetrack, there's odds on that you're not going to be quite as quick because you just don't have that positive feeling. Victor said straight out, I don't like Mid-Ohio. I looked at him like, listen, I love this. I personally love this racetrack. It's so much fun. He just does not like this track. Whether it's not played to him well, he hasn't had the success he wanted. That's going to put him just a step behind every time he gets on track.
Absolutely. It's all about confidence. And if he doesn't have confidence in his own ability and his confidence in how the track is going to do it, as we got a pass in front of Brian Culbertson.
Oh, Stingray Robb. I always talk about the high side of turn 4, not the way to do it. Well, Stingray Robb just made a joker out of me because he did it on the high side of 5, gets around Laskosian. He's able to try to draw away, Tom.
And Laskosian, he's not falling off at all, right behind the number 14 car, Stingray Robb into 11.
Here's a young kid out of Idaho who, ladies and gentlemen, started the karting ranks in the cadet and junior classes, kind of stepped his way up, became one of the top young junior drivers in the country. We just knew that every time he got behind the wheel of a kart, wherever it was, whatever national, regional that you were at, Stingray was one of the guys that was going to vie for the championship. He just had that racecraft. He had that calmness, that poise when he got into his later years in junior. Jumped up into the semi-pro shifter kart category as a senior, 15 years of age, put the car on the pole. The very first race he ever ran. Had trouble getting off the line, but he was learning the shifter karts and the standing starts. Just so much talent. Great young man, and I'm thrilled to have him here in the Mazda Road 80 presented by Cooper Tires. A lot of talent, but he jumped by USF 2000, didn't run that opening run. Just the way things shook down, they were really able to get a really good deal to come run Pro Mazda this year. His development, his learning curve is like meteoric. It's just straight up, and he just gets quicker and quicker every weekend. For him to be able to get by one of the Team Pelfrey cars, that says a lot, because those guys have a really good design on the chassis, the setup. Remember last year, Pato Award, Aaron Tielitz dominated for Team Pelfrey, so for him to be able to get by into fifth, that's epic for Stingray Rob.
I got to ask, was he conceived in the back of a Corvette? I just wondered where the name came from.
Well, the story is that his dad loved Corvettes and was there that connection to the Corvettes. I love the name.
I do too. I think it's a great racing name.
And well, the funny thing is that the first event we did, he was at a karting event, and of course, I see Stingray Rob here, and I'm like, listen, you don't put your nickname.
Your nickname,
nickname on the entry badge. I'm not calling you that. So for the first session, I called him Ray Rob. Great job for Ray Rob. Well, of course, lunch break, I'm going to get something to eat. Here comes this little 9-year-old kid up to me and says, Mr. Howden, my name is Stingray. Okay, I love it. I got you. And I've been good friends with the family for a long time since. Just a great family, great young man. But yeah, he came straight to me and said, my name is Stingray Rob. So I was put in my place very quickly.
The name would not have worked well if he'd have become a violinist.
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah, if he decided not to go racing, it would have been kind of unusual in the classroom, I think.
Yeah, Anthony Martin losing a little bit of ground here. That's definitely close. He lost half second on that last lap.
Yeah, Franzoni definitely quicker, 1:20.6129. As Anthony Martin may be running the tires off the car a little bit, or maybe he just had a bad lap. We'll see. We'll watch it.
I think it's more that he's 3.3 seconds up front. There's no need to push that hard. He can back down a little bit. He doesn't have to run that razor's edge like he could sometimes, really trying to hang it out there. Now he can kind of back up a little bit. He's got a 3.3-second lead, and I guarantee you they're telling him, hey, don't worry, Franzoni's getting pushed by Cunha as well. He's got a challenge from behind. So you just keep running your laps, take care of those tires.
Stingray goes slow, and Lestosha gets right back around him. I'm not sure what the issue was.
You're right.
Looks like there may be a little smoke out of the back of Stingray's car.
That's not Stingray. That's actually a very similar livery, but that's the number 5 of Kevin Bury. Here comes Stingray here.
He's good to go. My bad.
The colors are very, to 30 similar with that gray and the red. So, Stingray fans listening on the Mazda Road to Indy app, take a deep breath.
It's all good.
He's still good. He's still P5. Battle still continuing, though, between Bobby Eberle and Chris Wright. That's for 7th and 8th position. Eberle in the World Speed Motorsports, number 13. Wright in the JDC Motorsports, number 12. JDC Motorsports, a former champion in the series. Had some pretty solid drivers running for them in years past. Guys like Tristan Vautier, able to do well. Adam Christodoulou was with them as well back in the day. A lot of championships for JDC Motorsports, and now we're watching them ply their trade in the IMSA program with their car, their high tide car.
Rusty Bell.
Yeah, you talk about him, Rob. The announcer's curse. He went right off at turn 1 through the grass pretty hard. Rough ride, and he may lose the spot to Kaminsky. So the number 12 machine back. Chris Wright drives wide at turn 1 and loses the spot to Kaminsky.
That can happen so quickly, too, because your guys will tell you about that corner. It's a high-commitment corner, which I love that part of this racetrack. They roll into the Cooper Tire Bridge, and there's that big curbing on the inside. You got to make sure you stay just well enough off of it, but they're really using that curbing on the outside, and if the car pushes just a little bit, you drop a wheel there. Yeah, not surprising to see you go 4 wheels off.
Our leaders coming by, no change at the top of the order as Anthony Martin responds to the challenge from Victor Franzoni and stretches it out, getting close to 4 seconds now as Anthony Martin in cruise control as he's opened up a 3.8-second lead. Cunha about a 2 3/10 back.
The amazing thing, John, is they keep flip-flopping back and forth. Franzoni won yesterday. He was able to take the point lead. Now, as they stand, it'll be a 4-point lead now for Martin. They just keep going back and forth, and you can see the guys behind him kind of following back. TJ Fisher runs P4 on the racetrack. He now would be in that 3rd position or 4th position on track, 3rd in the points, but quite a ways back, about almost 80 points back from Franzoni, almost 90 points back from Anthony Martin. This has become a two-driver battle.
Be real curious to see when they go to Gateway, their first oval of the season, just how that's going to shake out.
Well, and for some of the guys, they just haven't had a chance to run the oval. This is Carlos Cunha's first time in the program. Didn't run USF 2000. Stingray Rob's never been on an oval. Listoshkin, Martin, Franzoni, and Fisher all coming through USF 2000 or in their second year of Pro Mazda. They've had a chance to be on the oval. It'll be interesting to see how these rookies take to it because it's a different discipline. We talked to some of the guys at Indy Lights, like Mateus Lace, who actually, ironically, won the Freedom 100 and then wins at Iowa Speedway. Carlin's been very good on those tracks, but he said just such a different discipline.
Yeah.
Here's a kid that comes from the traditional European road race tracks. It was just something totally foreign to him.
Speaking quickly, and again, because you won't be here with us for the Indy Lights broadcast, Lace seems to be a little lost this weekend. He's just not up to speed.
We don't know what it is right now, to be honest, because he had such a great run through the middle.
Yeah,
we talk about the fact that he really kind of came into his own at the Indianapolis Grand Prix, where he was fast lap of the race in race number 1. His first podium in race 2, wins the Freedom, wins at Road America, wins at Iowa Speedway, and was decent at Toronto. Carlin just seems to miss a little bit. We don't see any of their drivers in the top 3, top 4 at this point, so there are teams that just kind of struggle at this racetrack. It's challenging. It's hard to set up for.
Yep.
Juncos, Carlin, two drivers, two teams in the championship chase, just not quite getting the handle on this racetrack this weekend.
Yeah, I knew it was Mateus' first visit here, and, it's a hard track to learn. It doesn't give up its secrets easily.
True. So, again, here we go. We have about 12 and a half minutes remaining. Let's give you a scene set here. Anthony Martin leading by 4.4 seconds. We had a great battle, a thrilling battle yesterday in Pro Mazda. That's not happening here today as he has that big lead. Franzoni runs in second. He's been able to pull that gap to about a second over Carlos Cunha. 3 different teams, though, in the top 3. Anthony Martin with Cape, Franzoni with Uncos, and Cunha with Team Pelfrey. Another fast lap laid down by Anthony Martin as Cunha closes up a little bit. TJ Fisher now running in the 4th spot in the 82. Stingray Rob in the World Speed Motorsports number 14. The Red Apple grocery store sponsored car in 5th. Nikita Listoshkin in 6th position. Bobby Eberle in 7th. Kaminsky, your leader in the national category, running in 8th overall. Chris Wright 9th. Max Hanratty in 10th. Jeff Green 11th. Dave Zavelson 8th. Brendan Puderbach 9th. And Kevin Bury has actually brought that number 5 into pit lane. He's actually out of the car already. So that will be it for Kevin Bury. P14, the official classification.
Chris Wright finally got the job done and moved around Bob Kaminsky. Brian, was that in front of you?
Yeah, right at the end of the back straightaway. He was able to get by.
Drivers settling in here now. This is that second half run. We talked about the fact that Martin kind of backed it down for 1 lap, but he has decided to turn it back up because I think of 2 of the last 3 laps, he's reset his fast lap of the race. And that's important. We haven't talked much about it here yet during this particular race, John, but they get a bonus point for qualifying on the pole. They get a bonus point for leading the most laps, bonus point for having the fast lap of the race. Of course, Martin's led from start to finish thus far. We only have 11 minutes left, so he's definitely going to get the bonus point for most laps led, 14 so far. That bonus point, though, for the fast lap of the race, very crucial in the end. You never know what happens. We've seen it in the Indy Lights program where we had 2 drivers tied after the race, the finale. They tied in race wins. We went back to second-place finishes for Gabby Chavez to win the $1 million scholarship over Jack Harvey. So any point you possibly can get is crucial. And, of course, when Martin and Franzoni this close, that point is going to be huge for that driver from Australia.
Only separated by 4 points. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry
about that. Cunha getting close right now. It's 4 car lengths here in front of me. Cunha closing it back up on Franzoni. He's been about 2 seconds faster on every lap here for the last 3 or 4 laps. It was 4 car lengths by me.
Yeah, it's about 4 car lengths as they make their way through the S's right now. Cunha has been making it up all over the track. I've been watching him through the S's. He is much crisper with that car. It came to life earlier in the race. He kind of settled in. Now Tom Michaels, he is looking great.
Yeah, right there, about 3 car lengths off the back wing of that Franzoni car. Cunha continue to run hard. Both take that fairly tight line going through turn number 10. Now they bend it around. The left-hander, the very fast left-hander, at turn 11.
Anthony Martin starting to work his way through some lap traffic, able to get by the number 31 of Brendan Puderbach. Clean there. Onto the straightaway comes your second and third place drivers, Franzoni and Cunha, now down to just 0.6 of a second. Cunha quicker again by about 1/10 of a second, guys. You guys are calling it. He's just a little bit better here over the last couple of laps. 0.6 of a second, Rusty Bell, between Franzoni and Cunha.
Yeah, and they've got that lap traffic is going to be up in front of them here. We'll see where they hit that, but they are about 3 car lengths apart now at the top of the keyhole. working their way down. Here comes Martin. He continues to stretch his lead right now over Franzoni, but the battle behind with that lap traffic of Brendan Peterbaugh in front stays about 3 car lengths right now, Franzoni, but that traffic, Brian, is going to hit him.
Yeah, they're going to get to that traffic right now into the S's. Kuna is much faster in the S's. The top of the straightaway was 6 car lengths, Rusty. Now it's down to 3 car lengths. The traffic is in front of him. Tom Michaels, this is going to accordion right up.
We watch as they try and come around. Oh, a big twitch. Now that traffic gets out of the way, but that allows Cunha to come up and put himself right under the rear wing of Franzoni.
That was a great move by Franzoni, though. Had he checked up going into turn number 9 and had to hold back, Kuda would have been all over top of him. He really committed to the inside of the corner. Great job for Brendan Puderbach to see that happening, have a look in the mirror, and kind of pull off to the side to let Cunha come through. But I'll tell you, John, we're looking at maybe 2.5 car lengths here at start-finish.
And Franzoni absolutely doesn't want to let him by because the points battle is so close. It's 4 points in that one position. Could make that lead for Anthony Martin get a little bit bigger at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He is fighting for his championship life now, knowing there's only 3 more races left. That one at Gateway and the doubleheader at Watkins Glen on Labor Day weekend. That's the season finale for this entire Mazda Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. Martin leading by 6.5 seconds, but it's Franzoni doing whatever he can to limit the damage here at this point.
Yeah, 2 car lengths in front of me at the kink. It was 1 in the keyhole, but it looks like Franzoni stretches it, can get on the power. That the front end washes out a little bit. Can't quite tuck into the draft.
Franzoni definitely better on the straightaway, but when we get back here in the S's, it's a dogfight. Less than a car length through the S's. Kuna, his car handles way better. Tom Michaels in front of you.
Martin able to really stretch it out. No stretching it out between second and third. Cunha right behind Franzoni, just off the line as they go through turn 10, now into 11. Those two continue to battle here as we get late in this race.
Guys, quick stop here for the number 12 of Chris Wright. You guys had called it. Rusty had said that he went off in turn number 1. Well, those mechanics down right now, I believe, pulling the grass out of the radiator inlets. Probably the car starting to overheat. When you go off like that, you fill those radiator inlets up. That engine temp just rolls up. You're not able to cool it off. They've been able to get the grass out. He heads back onto the racetrack. So Chris Wright back on track here with about 6.5 minutes remaining.
Half a dozen laps ago, we also lost Kevin Bury, who had a problem as he went off course and knocked something loose under the car. The mechanics weren't able to fix it. They sent him back to the paddock. Great battle for second. Still raging, Rusty.
Yeah, it got really close as they had to get around a little more lap traffic right at the entry to the keyhole. That puts it 2 car lengths by me, and we know that Kuna seems to be a little better in the S's, Brian.
Hard on the brakes. Kuna just gobbles up that advantage. It was 6 car lengths at the end of the straightaway. It's a car length and 5. Less than a car length. Kuna looks to the inside going into 6. Can't get it done. It's a car length between them as they exit turn number 6. Kuna doing a great job trying to track down Franzoni.
Lost a little bit of momentum. Now starts to pick it back up. That's a car length between second and third, Franzoni and Cunha.
The Australian Anthony Martin taking full advantage of the battle for second. He is walking away here, 7.5 seconds last time by the stripe. He'll cross here with 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in race number 3 of this triple header for the Pro Mazda Championship, presented by Cooper Tires. Franzoni holding about, I'd say, 5 or 6 car length lead this time by. That's about a half a second. Pretty good lap there for Franzoni, a 21 flat, but 0.8 of a second, John, behind Martin. Anthony Martin laying it down lap after lap, consistently in the low 120s.
I'm sure his team is on the radio telling him that Franzoni's got his mirrors full of Cunha, and so he's got his attention to going backwards, and that allows Anthony Martin to just put it in cruise control and drive away. As big a lead as we've seen all weekend long for either of those competitors at the front of this race.
Still 3 car lengths by me, but they're coming down into the S's.
Yeah, just at the top end of the S's, Franzoni's car picks up quite a bit of speed, but once they jump on the brakes, Cunha just closes it down. It's 2 car lengths this time through the S's, much closer than last time, but Cunha wasn't able to do anything, so he's going to try to set him up someplace else. Tom Michaels, he peeks to the inside.
Nothing doing there. He's a little bit further behind. He's dropped back a car length more, so he's a couple of car lengths off of the rear of the Franzoni machine. They're up into 11.
Interesting battle between these two drivers, because when you look at their experience here in the Mazda Road to Indy, the experience here at Mid-Ohio, Victor Franzoni may not call this one of his favorite racetracks, but he's been on it numerous times. He ran in USF 2000 for 3 years. Of course, this is his first year fully into the Pro Mazda category. He's been here before. Carlos Cunha, brand new. When he rolled in here, he'd never been on this racetrack. We've seen kind of his progression throughout the weekend. He was running for third, John, in race number 1, but had that issue getting together with his teammate. Was given the cause for the incident, had to do a drive-through penalty. A good run yesterday as well, but again for Carlos Cunha, trying to come back to the podium once again.
And doing a great job of it, I might add. We're under 5 minutes. In fact, under 4 minutes remaining. So just a handful of laps. Anthony Martin is in control, almost a 9-second lead.
Franzoni with about 4 car lengths this time. He stretches it out down the straightaway.
Yeah, Cunha not nearly as close this time. He does get some of those links back as he makes his way through the S's. I'm sure he's cooling off the front tires of that car. He put on such a hard charge 2 laps ago. He is going to set him up. We got just a few laps remaining, but Cunha, keep your eyes on him.
They're sailing for your leader. No traffic ahead of him. There is some lap traffic ahead of the second and third place battle right now. We'll see whether Cunha is able to rejoin that with Franzoni.
The lead right now is almost shocking. You're trying to see when Martin crushed the hill over here in turn number 11. We're just waiting. This gap well over 8 seconds, probably 9 or 10 seconds now as he continues to pull away. In fact, the gap this time by 9.8 seconds, almost hitting that 10-second advantage for Martin. Some guys to look for here just to give some kudos. Stingray Robb has turned up the wick. 121.7 was his lap last time by 121 flat. 121 flat, same lap time as Cunha, quicker than Fisher. This is Stingray Robb's best race of the year, and he is turning lap times of that of the guys that really are challenging for the championship, the top 5. This kid has developed so well over these last couple of weekends. Impressed with Stingray Robb in the World Speed number 14. As well for Bob Kaminsky. He came in with a couple of guys trying to battle him for that podium, that race win in National. He's doing it again. Bob Kaminsky running in the 9th position, having a good drive here, looking to be back to the podium for the 3rd straight time here this weekend at Mid-Ohio. But for me, Stingray Robb, probably one of the stars of the race here. So impressive.
What's so impressive, guys, is he does not have the setup in the car that the other drivers around him. He is doing this on determination. The entire race I watch as Stingray Robb makes his way from 5 to 6. He is fighting the wheel to get the car to go this fast.
And Anthony Martin, I'll tell you what, he's not backing off. He came through turn number 9 that last time, put the right side wheels up and over the curbing because he kicked up dust from the inside of the racetrack.
We're going to see the white flag next time by. I was concerned that Jeff Green was being closed down on by Victor Franzoni and that he might be a factor in the second place battle. But Jeff Green, great sportsmanship, pulled to the side, honored the blue flags, and let those two by. Kuna's lost touch with Franzoni. I think the challenge may be over. We're going to see the white flag next time, and he's back now over a second behind Victor Franzoni.
Yeah, that was a really startlingly slow lap. Look at Stingray Robb. Last time by 120.777, a 773. Stingray Robb last lap was quicker than Franzoni, quicker than Cunha, quicker than Fisher. Stingray Robb putting on a show here today in that P5 position. What a great run for him. Started 6th, now running 5th. Excellent job for Stingray. But as we said, lap winding down. We're going to see the white flag, I believe, this time by for your leader, Anthony Martin, 11.1111. That's a pretty nice little number there for the lead, 11.1 seconds. Big advantage here as he'll roll through the carousel. Anthony Martin looking to win his 5th race in 6 starts here in the last 2 years at Mid-Ohio. White flag will fly from Tom Hansing. Martin en route to the win that would get another fast lap. He gets into the 19s. 119.8328. Rusty Bell looking very good here for Martin.
Looking really good. He is into the keyhole turn. I still haven't even seen our second place car yet. There they are right now. So a huge gap now as Anthony Martin already on the back straightaway. That battle fell off right now. So Franzoni really should have a pretty comfortable second spot. Cunha in 3rd. We were hoping that Stingray Robb would catch up a little bit more, but right now TJ Fisher is able to hang on to that spot. They've got a little lap traffic they may encounter, but Stingray Robb back in 3rd. But Anthony Martin all alone, already down into the S's.
Anthony Martin already through the S's.
We wait for him to come up over turn number 7. There he is, through 8, now 9. And he continues to push that car, even though it is the last lap. He makes his way off of turn number 10 up into 11. Just a few more turns here and another win for Anthony Martin.
Yeah, it'll be his 5th win of the year, Tom, and he will take a 4-point lead heading to Gateway in the only oval on the schedule. Out of the final corner, winner in Pro Mazda today here in Mid-Ohio, Anthony Martin. 2nd win on the weekend in this triple header. Important victory for the young Aussie as he is able to once again take the lead over. Watching for the battle. Here they come across the line. It was a good battle throughout the race. Not quite enough for Carlos Cunha. He ends up 3rd as Franzoni back across the line for 2nd. Here comes TJ Fisher. And look how close Stingray Robb got, guys. To the end here by just 0.8 of a second back. Turned out 120.9. Again, quicker than 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Stingray Robb, one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack over the last couple of laps. Martin, Franzoni, and Cunha. That'll be your podium. Fisher in 4th, Robb 5th, Lastoshkin 6th, Eberly 7th, Hanratty 8th. Kaminsky will join us on the podium as the winner in the national class, and Jeff Green rounding out the top 10. John, we'll take the opportunity. I'm obviously not on the broadcast with you guys for Indy Lights. I want to take the opportunity to thank you and working, of course, with Rusty, Brian, and Tom. Always a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Indeed, Rob, it's always a pleasure to have you with us here in the booth, and we'll look forward to one more race for the Mazda Road to Indy coming up just before we get our Verizon IndyCar Series gridded, and that'll be the Indy Lights race number 2, the second half of their doubleheader coming up at about 1:20 this afternoon. Rob Howden making his way down to the podium as the next event on the schedule is the warm-up, the pre-race warm-up for the Verizon IndyCars, as they will be out for a 30-minute warm-up session scheduled to begin in about 15 minutes time. We'll stand down for just a second while Rob is getting ready at Victory Circle, and we'll be back with you with podium ceremonies for the finale of the Pro Mazda Championship here at Mid-Ohio. Right down to Victory Circle with Rob Howden with our podium.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're down here in Victory Lane for Pro Mazda. Final race of our triple header weekend. We got some of our guests from Allied Building Products to give us a hand. Cars working their way back to the paddock as well. Let's get started, though, with bringing our drivers up here onto the podium after a great weekend. 3 straight wins, ladies and gentlemen, in the national category. Your winner today, Bob Kaminsky. 3 straight victories. And to bring Bob his trophy, Russ Euler, one of our guests from Allied Building Products, going to get that trophy for Bob. He adds another one. 3 wins this weekend here in the national class. Great job out there for Bob Kaminsky in the Slick Locks Pro Formula Mazda. Great job. Let's work our way now into the top 3 drivers in the championship category. Coming home in 3rd place, they put the pressure on all race long, but another great podium finish from Team Pelfrey, Carlos Cunha. Back-to-back podiums for Carlos, for Team Pelfrey, as he battles his teammates. Let's bring up Madison McSorley with our 3rd place trophy. Madison's going to give a 3rd place trophy here to Carlos Cunha. Thank you so much, Madison. Appreciate it. You can head back over there. Battle for this championship is very real. 3 more races still to go. Gateway, and then we go to Watkins Glen for a doubleheader to cap it all off. Who will win it? We're going to find out, but the drivers now adding more points here in race number 3. Coming home in 2nd place for Uncos Racing, Victor Franzoni. And to present him with his 2nd place trophy, Mark Toth will come in here with the P2 trophy for Victor. Winner yesterday, 2nd place today. Able to hold off the race-long advances from Carlos Cunha. One more position on the podium, and let's get this job done. Ladies and gentlemen, he has won 5 of the last 6 races he has run here in Mid-Ohio. A big round of applause to the winner today and your point leader, Anthony Martin! Anthony, yesterday was a tough one. There was some unfortunate incidents on the racetrack, but as a champion, you knew what to do, and that was to come back and lay a beating on him. You were so far out front, over 10 seconds at the end. Give me your thoughts on winning here today and taking that championship lead back.
Oh, it means everything. I mean, it was a hard day yesterday, but I think we came home pretty strong there. to get a 12-second lead at the end was awesome, and I think I set the fastest lap on the second last lap. So just goes to show how strong the Cape Motorsport car is, and I wanted to show everyone how good it was. They were telling me to slow down, but I wasn't having a bar of it, so I just kept going. And yeah, I mean, it was amazing. Can't thank Mazda and Cooper Tires enough. They kept me stuck to the ground and kept me going in a straight line. So it was truly amazing, and now winning the championship. So hopefully we can keep it going into the Gateway and Watkins Glen, and see how we go.
Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
My winner today, folks, Anthony Martin. Great job for him. And let's bring our P1 trophy, the winner's trophy. Kyle Euler will come up to the top of the podium here at Mid-Ohio and present Anthony with yet another winning trophy as he takes the point lead as we head to the next event, the Oval event at Gateway International. Great job for Kyle. Great to have you up on top there. But here are my top 3 drivers, and, of course, my winner in the national category as well. Fantastic run today for Anthony Martin as he takes yet another win. A 4-point advantage heading to Gateway. Victor Franzoni in second in points. P2 on the racetrack, Carlos Cunha battling with his Team Pelfrey teammates to see who's going to slide into third in the overall point standings when we wrap things up at Watkins Glen International on Labor Day weekend. An exciting weekend of racing for these drivers. They had lots of track time, a triple header, 3 different main events for drivers in the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires, the second rung of the Mazda Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. These drivers just a couple steps away from the Verizon IndyCar Series, and as they get set to go, the IndyCars for their morning warm-up, you'll look at drivers who started here and went through the Pro Mazda category. Marco Andretti, Graham Rahal, James Hinchcliffe, Connor Daly, Spencer Piggott, all these drivers who have come through this program and run here in the Pro Mazda class. We'll have a brand new race car next year, the Titus-built PM18, but for now we're excited with the program that we have for these young drivers as they get set to move to Indy Lights. Once again, big race. Anthony Martin, your winner. Victor Franzoni, second. Carlos Cunha in third.
Thanks so much, Rob Howden. We'll listen to Rob one more time this weekend as he